give me just a second. I need to do the announcements. We're listening to some PC98 stuff today, if you're watching the VOD and wondering. Hello, Beaver of Madness Roblox. Alright, let me see. So, last stream, we got this, like, weapon thing working. Hey, Donut. We just started. We got this gun thing firing. Very cool, very epic. We also got this cursor on the screen. Very cool, very epic. Okay. I can shoot stuff. Your Overwatch game is over in a second. Alright, epic. But yeah, look, I can track that bush and you shoot it. And isn't that cool? Anyway, what we can also do is spawn in some basic treasure mice. What I'm going to be trying to do today is some very basic enemy AI. So we're going to have it so the map procedurally will spawn in a bunch of treasure mice, so I don't have to be manually spawning them in. They'll just be there. And I'll have them idle and shoot at the player sometimes. And I'll probably give the player some health so they don't just get one shot. Which, the health thing is already implemented. We can actually have a look at that already. We look at the entity factory and we see the spawn character. You can see here we're already adding health. Because it was originally like a bullet hell game, hey Small, we got one shot, we'd hard-coded max health to be 1, but if I were to set this to, for example, 10, I'm assuming I can now take 10 hits from the mice without any more changes. Let's have a look. We can take a hit, take a hit, take a hit, take a hit. We should be able to take 10 hits, I guess. Alright, so that's already a nice improvement. I'm guessing the mice also... Oh no, the mice don't have 10 health. We can fix that as well. If we go to the enemy Jason and we just give him 10 health. Now, if I spawn in a mouse, blah, 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 you can see that they'll take a couple of hits. So that's just something nice for debug purposes. The mice are shooting way too much, I'm going to be honest with you. This wasn't meant to be a Touhou game quite yet. But yeah, that's just something we can already do. We didn't have to write anything new, but it's important. Hey, Donut. To help me with debugging, I'm going to go to our level generator. And I think we need to have some way... We already have some way to spawn in the player. We need to have some way to just randomly spawn in enemies. As for how we do that, I haven't put much thought into it, and I think for now it doesn't really matter. We just need to come up with some basic framework to store where we will spawn them and what we will spawn. And then from there, we can tweak away. So it's important that they don't get spawned inside a wall, for example. If I remember correctly, we're currently just spawning the player wherever the level generator ends. So if I look at wherever this is being used, maybe this, you can see that the player is actually probably just being spawned at 0, aren't they? Yeah. So that's we've got an even simpler way of spawning the player. I suspect that this map needs to contain, or maybe not the map, but the level generator needs to have some massive list of coordinates for us to put like enemies and objects and stuff. So let's have a look. We are currently placing in the registry whatever comes out of generate level. It produces a map. The map is... it just contains chunks. That's all it has now. Let's just give ourselves a little bit more space. I think there's not a massive issue with us just having an unordered set or something called like... was the player Z minus 0.5? Maybe. Hang on, let me raise the music a little bit. We're listening to some nice PC98 music. I didn't realize it was also good. No, it's 0. XYZ. I think we were using Z for like what tile they were on, right? Alright. Anyway, I kindly ask for you not to solve this for me. I'm gonna be having a bit of fun today. I've spent all day optimizing a binary. So I want to do something more fun. I mean, that was already pretty fun. But I want to do something for myself. So please don't say I'm doing this wrong. Or that, oh, this is a better way to do it. Just let me make my silly game. Optimizing binary sound pretty fun. Yeah, I mean, we did loads. It's something I've been doing for a few days. We have such little memory on this little board that we had to sit down and like analyze. I learned a lot today about memory. I learned about how C has C stores some data in the heap that it uses to when you're destructing your application, like all the static stuff it needs to destruct, which we don't need because it's embedded. So we can just use a command line argument to or a compiler argument to not have those. Because apparently C was, is much more of like a desktop language. Alright, well, whatever. I was told this was C, so you need to argue with my colleague who taught me about this. I'm just repeating what I learned today. There's that. That saved us a couple hundred bytes on the heap, but that's not really that relevant to us. We found that the amount we were allocating to the C stack was like 2 kilobytes, but it only actually uses like 200 bytes. So we were doing some analysis there. We gave it a little bit of a headroom, but that saved us 2 kilobytes on 64 kilobyte chip. Not too bad. All right. Well, I'm not here to talk about work. All right. I'm here to do that, but without getting paid for it. Why am I doing this? Anyway, so our map. Let's just start with something simple, hack it out, and then shuffle on. See how we're feeling. My map is gonna have a standard, unordered. Actually, hang on. Maybe I can reuse... Hang on a moment. Maybe I can think about this a little bit more. Originally, I was just going to have the map have its have every entity's like coordinate in it, but maybe I can store it per chunk. I don't like that you're down here. I'd like you to go to the top, please. Oh, actually, I guess I put you there for a reason. You end up with the concept of stack unrolling by default. Alright. Don't worry about it. We're going to have tiles in here, tile type. I kind of think it's okay... Will I ever have multiple things spawning on one tile? At the start of the level? Maybe tiles... No, that would be really inefficient. I was going to say, maybe they could spawn their type and what they're holding on to, but that would be stupid. We could also do a split tile type even further and have an entity type as well. So yeah. Fuck it. I think for now I'm just gonna hack away with this. I'm gonna say that every chunk can have a unordered, I guess unordered map's okay, between a Vec. Am I gonna spawn them on Zeds? For now I guess it doesn't really matter. Of some position, and then do we have enemy type? Do we have like an enemy type concept? Thought we did. When I'm spawning, for example, a Kiwi copter. Enemy data. Maybe it's in enemy data. Oh, hang on, enemy type. We do have an enemy type. Asset manager and enemy type. There we go. So you can have an enemy type. So we'll just keep it easy for now. Hey Diff0, what you doing today? I'm gonna be doing some very basic enemy stuff. You don't have the asset manager, huh? I'm gonna just very lazily right now spawn in a bunch of treasure mice in level generation. We'll probably refactor it in the future, but just for now, have them scattered around the level. And I'm gonna make them not shoot the player unless you're nearby, and then I'm gonna maybe introduce some like states so they can become idle or they can wander around, or I don't know if I'll bother with cones of vision cones or anything today. That might be take too long, but just some very basic stuff, you know, to get the ball rolling. And then once you have the basic stuff with enemies, it's always iterative, right? Stealth mechanics? Well, if not stealth mechanics, but you know, like the enemy might not want to start shooting you through the wall, or the enemy might not want to shoot you if they're walking away and they don't see you, or maybe like the smart enemies can path around objects and the stupid ones can't, so you can catch them. You know, it's stuff to give you depth and more levers to tweak. Anyway, you need the asset manager, do you? Where is the asset manager in this case? I guess it's oops. These different computers at work and at home is very annoying. Alright, so there you have the asset manager. Expected... what have I missed about you? Do I need to declare you in a different way? I see that this unordered map has a IVEC3 hash. Oh, I guess that's the hashing function. And perhaps in this case, you don't have a hashing function? Oh, I need to give you a name. It's been a long day, honestly. Enemy spawn positions. And even for now, we're just going to spawn everyone at the start. No loading stuff in nearby chunks. None of that nonsense. Not yet. So let's have a look. This is your map. We have a place to potentially put some enemy spawn positions. In the level generator system, we're going to say every time you're generating a floor, right now they are inserting a tile at a potential position, X, Y offset, etc. Do we already have the chunk at this point, or no? You aren't needed. Let's first of all, let's just simplify some of this stuff. Let's just remove some of this nonsense. We did it. We did all of this. Mostly. Oh god, man, these to-dos are older. Install the library that lets you have debug windows, collision detection, let you change the screen size, add directional shooting. To-do bullets. Need to have the player's velocity added to them? That fucking idiot had no idea. Being me. Anyway, Is map.setTile where you are having a chunk decided? Yeah. Alright, let me think for just a moment. If we are not bothering loading enemies in per chunk, we could probably get away with just moving the enemy's position up a level for now until we care. And that will simplify things for now, and then we can change it in the future. Right? If you're writing an algorithm, at least that's how I do it. I always make it basic as possible first, and then you can iterate on it and make it a little bit more complicated. If right now we only need enemies at the map level, so a little inefficient, we'll just do that. And then we can move it as needed. Might turn out we never bothered doing chunk loading, so that would be easy. And if we do, then fuck it, that's a job for the future. Alright, so as we're running around, if insert, so if it's able to insert a map, it sets the tile. In which case, by the way, it's very possible right now that enemies are going to spawn in walls. Don't worry about it. Map.enemy spawn positions pos equals what is it? Enemy data, enemy. Oh wait, hang on. You are enemy data right now. I want you to be enemy type. Fuck. What was it under? Asset manager, enemy type, treasure mouse. So this should spawn a treasure mouse on every single tile, right? Bit much, I'll be honest. So I'm gonna have a I'm just gonna expand this a little bit and say if, what was it? Random percentage, and then do I need to also pass in the RNG function? Yeah, random percent. If enemy chance, I'll even expand it out a little bit. How about that? So if enemy chance is less than 2, we're going to spawn an enemy in. Bam. Is that correct? Room chance. Well, obviously we've extracted this stuff properly. Where did we extract it to? I guess it's... Man, this music's great. I'm curious to why you defaulted to unordered map instead of vector. Yeah. Because I want to have a map of where the keys are all the coordinates and the values are what you're storing at that coordinate. Next question. What have I done wrong? Is it because you can't have a map of vec2? It doesn't have a... I guess it doesn't have a hash. I forget that this language is kind of fucked. Vec2 is what we're using for coordinates, right? I know it's not going to directly tie to tiles, so perhaps we should... Let's just make use of ivec3 for now. If we really don't care and we just want to see it working at first, let's just do that. It's obviously not going to work where we're using it. Yep, obviously. So we'll just do this. And then I should have imagined that would work. Here we go. Oh no, you're ignoring what I asked. I only had one request. Right. Not crashing. We have all these enemy spawn positions. They're not being used right now, obviously. You're asking a genuine question. You're asking a leading question. You're asking a leading question. Isn't that more complicated than is a way of saying you're wrong? Please do it this way. And I just want to fuck around. It's 8:30. I've just worked 8 hours. You know. Isn't that more complicated than having a list of coordinate type pairs? I don't care. I'll be honest, I don't care. I just want to mess around. Where is this being called from? So here we have a map. General level. Do you return? Does in place return directly what it is? So const auto map equals this. So I can say for const auto enemy spawn position in whatever the syntax is. And then we're gonna say entity factory dot spawn enemy at enemy spawn position dot first. And then we hit F5. So, oh fuck, it's laggy. 2% is definitely not the right. I'm guessing that it spawned like a lot of rats and they're all shooting at us all at once. Yeah. That's spawning a lot of bullets, isn't it? So I'm just very quickly in spawn enemy. I'm just gonna remove this firing weapon thing and see. If they aren't shooting, how bad does it run? My thought process. An unordered map cannot have duplicate entries. It guarantees it. If you have something in the key set, it'll simply be overwritten. So in the case of a video game, it's nice not to have two enemies spawn on the exact same tile, even if it's not terribly likely. I see obviously they're spawning like 0.5 off, kinda doesn't matter. I'm also noticing they're not really spawning in bushes, like they're kind of on the corner of it. It's his fault for being 32 by 32 instead of 16 by 16, but just at sort of first glance, this doesn't look so bad. I see you are in need of random spawning here. What do you mean? I show you my solution. I don't want your solution. I just want to do game programming. I just want to do game programming. All right. Here we go. Look, the mouse is spawning. If we turn off the collision hulls as well, kind of looks video gamey. There he is. So now we've got them spawning in very nicely. Music's kind of Pokemon-y. I know it's like an older visual novel, but it reminds me a lot of like Gen 2. This is cool. Obviously we can shoot through walls and stuff. I don't know how big of a deal that is right now, but this will be fine. It's also a very big level, so you can just run around and shoot these things. Alright. Let's have a look. Avoiding duplicates makes sense, though with floating point chances of getting the exact same coordinate are almost zero. With integer tile coordinates it's reasonable. Did I not do that? IVEC3. What type is IVEC3, Donut? You were doing Vec2 at first. Yeah. I was, yeah. I think I like my solution, so I will use it in my silly personal time video game. You're welcome to use an array in your one. Alright, I'll look at your thing, DT. It's streamable, that's a real website, I trust that. Please don't give me a fucking shock video. Spawning using a heat map. Oh, this is cool. So are you, was it you that was working on that game with all the, hey Dizzle, was it you that was making that game with all the, like, 64 players at once, and you could, like, move circles around? Was that you? Because this looks like a really nice, little solution you've got. It looks strangely like, the blur around the borders looks a bit like, is it Perlin noise or Simplex? I don't know what the noise is. I'm not a noise guy. But that sort of lava effect you get if you blur your eyes a bit. Looks like it. Looks very cool. Nice solution. I saw a guy on Reddit asking about binning. They were like, how do I solve binning? That was funny. Around the borders is just a gradient. Oh yeah, I know. But the effect you get mimics that noise, and I just thought that was a nice side effect. That's cool. How you doing, Dizon? I haven't told you to change it. Donut, if you tell someone something like, isn't that more complicated than, why did you do this? I just want to know what the thought process, it might be blah blah blah. These are leading questions. I hope you understand. These are not quite the same as just like an observation or a, oh, okay, I see. They are if you choose to interpret them that way. Unfortunately I did, but that's okay. Just banter in it. Okay, we have some enemies spawning. Let's immediately work on having some states. Now I'm sure there's a trillion ways to do this. I'm sure it's a whole degree you could take, state machines. I am going to make... We already have an enemy system, right? Enemy system. In our enemy system, we're handling weapons, where each weapon is its own component, basic firing and predicted. I vote, why not doing the same thing with enemy behavior? So we could have neutral, like Minecraft style, you know, neutral enemy and aggressive enemy to start or something, or passive and aggressive, where passive enemies just sort of wander around, and aggressive enemies will stay completely still, and then when you go near them, they'll walk at you or something. I don't know, it doesn't matter. Just to have something to work from. I'm saying this partially because we also have two enemy types right now. We can spawn two different types and see how they work differently. And also by starting with passive, I don't have to bring shooting back immediately. That's my thought. So I'm just going to say struct passive passive behavior. I see they extend from weapon. Struct come up with better names later, I'm sure. A weapon has all this nonsense, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to just copy this because there's probably something we can have to think about. Struct enemy behavior. You lads are going to extend from that. Let's see. Enemies, don't need to worry about this sort of thing right now. Don't need to worry about that for now. We may have, like, timers and things, you know, for how long they want to stay idle. So imagine we'll put state in here. We'll have a, I don't know, instead of bullet, we'll have some enum called state. Can I get away with that? Because it'll be enemy behavior state. And we'll call it idle, and what's the exclamation mark in Metal Gear? What would you call that? Alert? I don't know. Yeah, alert. Yeah, good idea. You are angry at me. That's okay. And I'll just have a local variable called state. Start off an idle. Something really simple, really basic, and we can work from this, I'm sure. Do I normally do enums like this? I just want to make sure matches. We normally actually have them at the bottom. Okay. Is that okay? Yeah, I didn't think so. Weird that I did it like that in the other one, but okay. So, let me think for just a moment. When we are in the entity factory and we're spawning an enemy, we want to do a check over... Oh, I don't need to do a switch. We can just say add enemy behavior. Actually, do we already add the enemy data? What are we doing with this? I guess we don't just have a struct for the enemy data. That's fine. Where is your all enemy data? You return this. So this is the stuff we're serializing. Has my music already ended? I liked that. PC98 music. Oh, there's more. Shit. It's only 4 minutes long, though. Okay. 4 minutes to do programming. What's the best way to learn coding language? How do you learn? How did you do in school? Do you like doing stuff, or do you like reading stuff, or do you like being told stuff? That's a very personal question. I would say trying to do a very basic project is a good start. Like do a hello world and then try and copy some... I think a game's not a bad project. If you try and make like a... I don't know. Battleships or something in a terminal. Yeah, then it was just definitions for different bits. Yeah. I was just wondering why I had it at the bottom there, not the top. Okay, none of this matters right now. Alright, well, whatever. Entity. Can I pass in children here? Let's find out. No, probably should have put that at the bottom. What was the subtype called again? Passive. Passive behavior. Oh, hang on, I'm stupid. That's a struct. Can I? Fuck him. Let's just do this for now. Alright, what are you typing? Hello. You guys are chatting. Hello, Jeremiah. I'm afraid this is an English chat. I cannot speak Spanish? Question mark. You mastered Lua, but you want to learn C++ or Python. I would, if you've already got experience with Lua, then I'm sure you've got a little bit of experience as a developer. You could just pick up, we could just pick up like an online C++ course if you like. I don't know much about Lua, but yeah. You got your headspace in there. Just go and see if you can get some basic game written in C++ or something in the terminal. So many C++ streams, just like when you were unemployed. Thanks, Linus. Yeah, nice. I didn't realize Roblox games made so much money. That's pretty good. Nice work. I mean, Spanish is useful. I did it at school for a bit, but I was useless at it. I did German and French as well for like 7 years or something, and I remember so little. Unfortunately, my music already ended. 4 minutes is not very long, is it? How about this other one? Was this the one I just listened to? Music from Japan's golden era. Thank you, youtube.com. I think we just listened to this shit, but I mean, it's banging, so I think it's fine. Robot Slim's making insane money. Nice. Be proud of yourself, I guess. Bit concerning given the target audience. Yeah, it is. It is pretty concerning. Add passive behavior. So enemies now will be passive. Wow. You know what that means? I'm not going to do anything at all. Isn't that amazing? I don't know why I'm compiling. I don't really know what I'm expecting to see, but they will be passive. Never mind, it failed. Something's wrong. No, something's right. It just felt like failing. Alright, here's our lads. You know, they're still here. I'm just very quickly going to turn off the collision view by default. Stevars, stove debug GUI, so hitbox is false. Let's do that. So, let's do some really basic stuff, right? We go to our enemy system, sorry. And we're gonna do some loops in here. Here we're getting a view on the air player. I kind of don't care. I guess this is shooting at the player. Interesting. Tick. We might want to go over this. Let's just have a think. We have passive behavior and aggressive behavior. Let's say we'll put our state stuff in here. So if I remember correctly, in Woho 1, we had I think we gave bullets a state system. We had stuff like they had a target to move towards and a speed to move towards it and all that. Like a homing bullet system, which is quite similar to what we have here, right? So based on the state, they'll do a thing. We could say, for example, if they're idle, whatever. If they are moving to target, we, move it to the target. If they are feeling like shooting, then feel like shooting, go for it. That sort of thing. So for a start, I'm going to say we need to add a state called, instead of idle, we're going to have move to target, because that's going to be really easy to view. If you want to fill the idea you had about passing derived types to add enemy behavior, it would have been a good use for a function template. Okay. Well, I was just wondering if I need to pass in other information. I don't know right now if passive and aggressive behavior will have sub information, like, you know, speed of moving to. That makes sense. But maybe they'll share a lot. Maybe this will just define which states they'll even move in between. Oh, I mean, at this point, it's basically a boolean. Or well, it's basically a boolean, but more like an enum called like behavior type, personality. I'm wondering if that's better. Instead of having separate structs, if we should just have a type called personality. Your hunch is that it will end up having most things shared. You might as well have an enum you switch on. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Let's do the enum thing for now. What happened here? You left for 2 minutes and the teenagers were discussing Roblox. And I didn't even mention 6 or the number that comes after it. crazy. Let's just do this. Left state, and we'll have personality. We're gonna have what did I call it? Passive, aggressive, personality, personality, and that will be something you have to construct it with. If I make you const, does it automatically generate this in the constructor for us? Is it like, oh, you're missing that? That's my question. How does this language work? A trend recently, people call it fat structs. Oh, yeah. Fat structs, imagine. So we're just gonna have add and whoops. It's a little scarily like object-oriented programming donut. This will be enemy B. I'm going to call it behavior instead of AI, because if I'm constantly writing enemy AI, I'm going to want to shoot myself. No offense to people that like that. I mean AI, not shooting yourself, but to each their own, I guess. Getting more attention recently as a simpler alternative to OOP. Do we need simpler alternatives to OOP? Hang on a moment. No, don't replace ECS. I've only just started using it. I fucking love it. Don't get rid of it. Stop it. Whoever's against ECS, tell them I'm coming for them. Alright? Don't know what I'll do. Like when a Labrador finally catches something it was chasing, it's just like, what? What am I trying to write? Enemy behavior, personality, aggressive. They're aggressive, huh? And that is something I guess we can pass in enemy data, so but easy enough. No better than ECS in a way other than simplicity. Since you already have an ECS setup, you're fine based. ECS, my beloved. Enemy system, tick. Why did I do the view like this? I don't... This seems weird to me. Like why it was done like this. But fine. I guess we just wanted a view on one player. Is registry.view just give you one? Or it's a view over many potential types? View.front. Ah. First entity. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Okay. So really, do we... good question, me. When do we care if there is a player? If they're aggressive, I'm guessing they're just gonna have a target. They could be aggressive to another enemy. I don't know. They could have a target. Whatever. I'm just gonna have a switch in here called switch state, and we'll move on from there. Not in there. So here we're already doing iterating over enemies with weapons and transforms. There will be a better way to restructure this, so just ignore that idea. We're just gonna do it shit for now and then fix it later. We're gonna have any enemy with a enemy behavior. Transform, fine. Hang on a moment. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Because I guess you're cut out because of this. Yeah, fine. Oh. I guess we could have switched over them separately if they were structs. What's wrong, little guy? Oh. You gonna let me enumerate? Are you gonna populate it? Oh, you are. So if it's moved to target, you know what I'm gonna do? Very shittily, I'm gonna just move it at the target, I guess. Somewhere in here we've got a input manager? What was it called? Action responder? There will be a whole load of work to get the physics to look good, okay? Will be. For now, I'm going to do the world's shittiest implementation just to have something to look at, okay? It's going to be shit, okay? Look at it. Oh, Woolen, you got a function for that. You got... Shut up. The enemy's going to need a target. So we're going to have a target. Fuck it. Vec3 target. Entity target. Yeah, we'll have an entity target. I'm sure there's a better way to do it. We're just fucking around. Target. Ignore it. Ignore what I'm writing. Don't look at the screen. Alright? Don't look. Don't look. Alright? Don't look. Alright? Stop. Stop looking. You're looking, aren't you? Anyway, I want to do registry.view. Const transform. Is it actually got view or registry or get? Like I want to get a transform on the enemy behavior dot target. I guess it hasn't been built yet. How about you get built? And we'll do like an if it exists, if the target exists. You haven't said anything. I know you're thinking stuff. Stop thinking. There'll be like, there's like a try get or something. So, if auto const auto target equals this. So if we can get the target, so if they exist, good start. And just ignore how shit this is gonna look. Ignore it. Don't think. I know it's const. It's shit. It's shit. Don't worry. It'll all be better later. Minus. Oh, we actually are allowed to do this. Okay. Very shit. I know it's shit. I know it's shit. I know it's shit. Okay. Oh, it's shit. It's okay. Okay. The world's most basic follow algorithm. You give it an entity, and every fucking tick, 60 times a second, it moves, or, okay. You can't convince me it'll be better later given the state of the code base. I'm gonna shoot you in Minecraft. Anyway, whatever. I just want to have something somewhere so we can move it. We quite literally will have a, like, move to target. We'll do some fucking fuzzy logic. We'll pick a point near them. Can't use luck. Whoosh. Don't worry about it. We're fucking around, alright? Fucking around. Shh. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about any of it. We're experimenting. Anyway, if it's idle, I'm gonna try to get the player. If I can do that. Or In fact, I'm going to shove this inside this fucking if statement, because this way I can get the player position. So if they are moving to target, great. If they are idle, don't worry about how shit this is. Don't worry. It will be... if they are idle, if player position, how do you know distance 2 in maths? Come on, lads. We got a fucking maths function for this shit. Fuck it. So if the player exists, how about this? You're no longer idle. Your target is equal to first entity. Is that allowed? Are you an entity? I hope you are. Enemy behavior. You kind of see what I'm getting at? Don't worry about the logic or how we're doing the movement. It's just temporary. It's temporary. We're all temporary. We're all ephemeral. We'll be gone one day. You won't have to worry about any of this. Plus, we literally have a function for moving on the player. I'm imagining I will make use of the linear motion thing that we've got. So just that's what I'm actually thinking about. We got fucking all this, not linear menu. We got fucking linear movement system. We got all this fucking shit going on. So just don't worry about it. It's all chill. It's all chill. We're gonna add fucking velocity and friction. It's all gonna be great. So actually, how does this look? I think it's going to crash fucking immediately. All the mice are going to teleport on top of you, or it's not going to do a thing. So let's see what's going wrong first. Mixin storage. Oh, buddy. What's wrong? You want a personality? I guess you're getting a copy. You don't like a copy? You're upset about that one? Oh, hang on. When you're constructing something to put in the registry, what's the syntax? Obviously here we're doing a standard move of some actual struct with stuff in it. I guess we can construct it here. Maybe this is why you're upset. Do you want me to do a little standard move, or are you fine copying around a completely empty struct? Oh, it's an enum. Shit me, I guess. Oh, it's so inefficient. How could he do this for 40 objects? Alright. The mice do not look like they are inching towards the player. Let's think about that for a moment. We're adding an enemy behavior. And in here, we're making them aggressive. In our enemy system, if there is a player, if there is a thing with an enemy behavior and an enemy, I'm guessing that we are getting in here, right? We are in here, okay. So if I just let this run for like a hot moment, they'll all no longer be idle. Oh, cock, I'm not setting the... Ah, there you go, good start. What did I call it? State equals move to target. All right, watch this. The mice are gonna just get, they're gonna get super fucking aggressive. They are gonna go crazy. All right, we've got a breakpoint in play. Get out of here, debug window. They're gonna get super scared. Oh, they're moving away. Oh, look at them fucking go. They're going crazy fast. Holy shit. Well, you get the idea. Something's moving. This mouse is moving at like hyper speed. It's going left and right as fast as it possibly can. You get the idea, right? We can now replace all this bullshit. Like this, none of this ever mattered. I just wanted to see something fucking wibbling. We're probably going to put this behavior somewhere else. Oh, there you go. Now it's all paying off. Now it's all paying off. Now we know. Now we know. That's a Mitchell and Webb. We're going to have a... Oh, have we already done the... We've already done homing weapons. That would be pretty nice. Never mind to do. Sucks ass. I'm going to probably reuse the logic we've got for predicted angle. And come up with some velocity and just punt them along a bit every now and then. I don't know. And then they'll speed up as quick as possible. But if something has a physics and a movement, then it gets shoved into our physics system, so God and Anime will be on its side then. It will be using all of our fucking glorious crap. If I just have another moment at Action Responder, somewhere in here we are shooting a bullet at a position. That's this stuff. So, with enemy AI, usually you don't make them perfectly track the player. That's kind of fucked. You usually have them recalculate a node to move towards every fuzzy second or whatever, right? Or you have them follow in a swarm. So that's one style of thing. There's two styles of things. For now, I think I'm gonna have like a timer that goes every second. And every second, it just updates the target position. And we'll just see how we're feeling about that one for now. Because I kind of hate it when games constantly have enemies walking at the player. It looks very Game Maker. And if I already start using a timer, then that'll be kind of sick. So I think, surely, it might be a bit too expensive. Oh, maybe it's not too expensive. I was going to say it might be too expensive to do this predicted movement thing every frame, but maybe it's chill. I basically just wanted to look in here and say, in the enemy system, I'm gonna have not in here. Move to target. I'm gonna have one called start move to target, and we'll have one called moving to target. And somewhere in here I'll have a timer. Doesn't really matter for now. But for now, it's just going to immediately, from idle, look for the player. It's going to just note its position once, and it's going to move towards it with the same logic that we're using for bullets. So they're all just going to wander around like fucking madmen, okay? Maybe now you see why I didn't put any timer effort into this, because this shit's going to fucking out of the way it goes. Just like that. Oh, thank God I didn't spend more than 2 seconds on it. Anything 01 of these angle calculations are negligible. Yeah, I'm just thinking forwards, because if we end up doing some A-star algorithm style stuff, you don't want that shit running every frame. If you have heuristics being built, typically you're not building that stuff every frame. Little forethought. Anywho, we're going to have some states. We're going to have another state, okay? We're going to have start move to target. We're going to have moving to target. You are going to be ignored. Start move to target. We're going to try and get the target's current transform. And then I'm guessing the enemy's going to need to have a velocity and stuff if he doesn't already have it. Does enemy have physics? I'm guessing the enemies don't have physics right now, so I should probably add that. Entity. The bullets have physics, right? I'm not losing my mind, right? Add bullet. Bullet stuff. Bullet velocity. Or maybe they don't have physics. You have velocity and position, which is kind of like physics. Where's the? Hang on. I'm. Pause. Save state. Where's the bullet stuff happening? Is that just in here? Bullets to fire. Like, where are you being handled? Weapon system. Because we're functionally recreating this. Hello, Fox Neko. What's the game? It's a game where mice instantly teleport upon you and kill you. Like a bullet shooty rhythm game. Not rhythm game, fucking a roguelite, where you move around and go, and then the enemies go, ding, and you go, and then sometimes they drop a weapon and you go, like that. Don't worry about it. Looks to me like this weapon is being spawned. We are spawning a bullet, which have a physics. They have linear motion, not physics. They are some strong mice. They are. Do we need the enemies to have physics? I kind of think so, right? Or is that going to make this shit complicated? Linear motion makes the most sense when the the enemies just stop moving somewhere, stop moving somewhere, stop. If we have physics, then the enemies can like skate around and skid around and... Oh, hang on, add physics, spawn character. Yeah, you know what? Let's give it a go. IMO enemies should have physics. Mass equals, what's the carrot, like fucking 40 kilograms. They're not gonna weigh much. I'll have a mass, linear velocity, and an external force. And I think somewhere in our system, it like neutralizes external force once you've used it like once, right? Super forward list. Maybe, we'll look at optimizations at another time. I've had enough of optimizing today. Anyway, enemies are gonna have physics. Ain't that cool? So, how about this? We had a new one. Physics. Wow. Wow. Wow, if you can believe it. Start move to target. We have a target. I'm going to say that physics dot external force equals something we work out now, I guess. So in our action responder system, we're going to shoot a gun like this. Lovely. We're going to get the target direction. We don't need to worry about this distance. What framework is this? You've always wanted to try ECS. So the ECS framework we're using, or at least I'm using here, is Entity. But the C++ game framework is libdonut, which Donut in Twitch chat has made and is making. I will link it to you because I'm a good consumer, and maybe you want to have a look. He's a very good developer. Have a look. I'm using Entity and an older version. I'm using 2.3.6, I guess, or something like that. He's working on 3.0, which I think he said you're writing your own version of Entity, or your own ECS library. I don't know. Whatever. So let me think. Dangerous, that, innit? It's cool. He's a smart lad. You should probably use Entity for now. Entity's good. I recommend Entity. ENTT. Look at that thumbs up. That's like a Twitch emote thumbs up. My hand's not actually that big. This is just a perspective trick. Watch as I make the Citadel Aethematic Blue larger than my head. This stuff's such good value for money. You get a head's worth. Oh, actually, no, it's tiny. Crazy. All right. I keep waffling on. I'm sorry. Let me think. Bullets to fire, velocity modifier, physics, entity. Don't worry about any of this. Yeah, let's not think too hard about it yet. I'm starting to think about adding velocities to fuck it all. We're starting from scratch. We're making this rubbish. It's good. So start position is going to be our transforms. I guess we should interpret this right now. So look, you were asking about LERP earlier. Check it out. We're going to get the... Oh, we don't have the frame info. Does the tick info have this stuff? Oh, it doesn't have this stuff. It's alright, it can be a little off. So the start position is just going to be the transform's current position. Do we need to calculate a difference? Yeah, to get an angle. Do we want the enemies to move at a particular angle? Yeah, that solves us having to deal with X's and Y's and nonsense, so we're just going to grab this. So this is going to be our target dot position minus transform dot position. So this is, we're getting the angle between our target, the player, and ourselves, us. We're going to try and perform an angle, and if the enemy and the player are directly on top of each other, to avoid a divide by zero situation, we're just going to set the angle that way. Since it's in tick, using position directly will be exact anyway. Yeah, fair point. Fair point. I was overthinking things. Dangerous, isn't it? Gun distance. Don't need that, I guess. Angle. Gun distance. Let's see how much of this we actually need. Because I'm not thinking so much as scratching this out on a piece of paper. This music is awfully quiet. So start position is transform dot position. I don't think we need to do this. This was just moving the gun outwards. There's music. Oh, you can't hear the music. You should be able to hear this. I'll raise it a bit. Can you hear it now? I wasn't meant to be in silence. This was just us moving the bullet out by the gun's length. And this is us getting the angle. So transform dot position. Shot speed, I don't know, 25. Target position, target dot position. Velocity modifier, 0. F. Dot. No, that's not it. It's a Vec2. Welcome to Constructor Town, bub. Okay. We're getting some angle. It's so quiet you hadn't noticed. You know, the best effects are those that you don't even notice until they're pointed out. I'm talking rubbish, by the way, if you're wondering. I'm strong, little lad. Don't like being multiplied? Oh. Velocity modifier is a that's a Vec3. Whoops. Alright, here we go. So, here we go. Physics. So, how on earth does this work? I think I might have already buggered it a bit, but I was kind of thinking we can just give it the velocity. That might look stupid. It's been subconsciously injected into your brain against your will. That's right, bub. Physics dot whatever. Oh, that's loud. What other shit do we have in physics? Linear velocity, that gets calculated. Mass, that's set. Almost might be const, but whatever. And then here we'll want to set the state to moving, so we don't have to worry about this. Moving. This might be wrong. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it is. Let's just have a quick look. Movement input. Movement input is a normalized angle? Oh, I mean, we normalize it. We create a dot product and say, there's your direction. All right, that's not where I'm using it then. Movement system, maybe? Hello, lad. Here's another thought. It's meant to be a literal physics force in Newton. I think you're right. Let's just say for example, predicted aim angle. You're producing an angle. Can we convert this angle into a movement input direction? And then at this point the enemy is now here with some angle. We can provide it some force. And then maybe we can use the movement input system that we use for the player, also for the enemy. Thoughts? Thoughts on this one? Look at all this nonsense. There's friction, there's linear velocities, there's crazy stuff. What do you think? I thought that sounded pretty interesting. Physics system is actually quite basic, right? Like, it looked complicated, but it's mostly just collision stuff. How does this look? I'm just curious. Does this do anything noticeable? Just curious. That's all. Someone's flying. Oh, look. Some of them are actually shuffling along. That's funny. Look. He got like a huge physics bump boost. And away he goes. Kind of cute, isn't he? Oh, I guess physics... Actually, hang on. I think they're just landing inside the wall and they're getting collision detection. I think that's what this is. This is the collision detection resolving. Off he goes. Holy shit. Alright. That makes sense. Yeah. Alright, we've accidentally made procedural golf, that level where you can hop over the rocks. Oh, look at that one go. That's crazy. Alright. I'm not going to fix this for a long time, I'm going to be honest. I'm not redrawing the enemy sprites anytime soon. You're giving it a force of 25. I think that's correct, being named bullet velocity. Bullet velocity. Whoops. So newtons of 25. Let's give it 1,000. I don't know. This isn't truly what I want, though. I think I want it more like the... Where are you going, little guy? Oh, actually... Okay, it just needs to be, like, really high. Nope, doesn't need to be named velocity. It just needs to be external force. Actually, this doesn't look that stupid. Hang on. Hang on, maybe this isn't as stupid as I thought. Obviously, they're trying to get around the walls. It's never gonna happen, little guy. Interesting. Look at them go! Draw main player last, it should always be on top. Nah, not in a bullet hell, I want the player to explode. I like it when the player's hidden. This looks best to me. These mice are going crazy. Isn't it nice when shit like I wrote like 2 or 3 years ago is still valid, like this hit detection stuff? Sorry, I'm having fun playing my video game. I'm gonna be real with you. The physics thing might work. Maybe it's sensible, but I kind of like the idea of it being like a movement input, like the player has. Like when you're holding a key and it performs all of this nonsense. I thought it would be like when the enemy is moving towards you, it's like you're simulating holding down like an arrow key towards its direction. Touhou draws the player first too. I'm pretty sure in Touhou you are drawn like underneath everything, yeah. Bullets are definitely on top of you, because then that way you can actually see if you're grazing properly or not. That was my impression. Your hitbox is really the player. Anyway, let's implement this timer. So shot interval. Welcome to I don't know, move, recalculate target timer. We'll come up with a better name, I'm sure. I don't exactly remember how we use these timers. Maybe in here? Somewhere I think I'm using this, somewhere else. You'll do. Interesting way to write any of this. You're what I want. Countdown loop. Yes. Pretty sure this is what I want. I need to remember how this works. Everyone seems to write timers their own way. There we go. So... This isn't what I'm thinking of, is it? How are you being used? This doesn't feel right. How does your countdown loop work again? Update a countdown loop with a boolean trigger that determines if it's active or not. An inactive loop will continue counting to 0 but will not loop back around. Okay. I feel like this is what I want to use, right? Am I not using this when I'm shooting stuff? Yeah. Because this is then, this is tied to, delta time. No. Weapon.cooldown. Okay. This is the number of recalculations we have, right? We're going to say auto recalculate target. So it should be a boolean, right? Should recalculate target position is do you have delta time in here? Maybe not. What do you have? Maybe I can't use a countdown in here. That's a little annoying. Oh, wait, hang on. Can I not use countdown loops in tick? Should I be doing this in update? That sounds very expensive. Tick interval is one you want to use for the same purpose in tick. Okay, good. Because I want to not constantly be recalculating this timer. I'm okay with the enemy only recalculating its position every 60th of a second minimum. You know, Super Mario Brothers bus style. Shot interval. What are you normally? Some stupid value. 100 multiplied by 0.001f. How about just 1? And then I don't know what this last thing is. What's your boolean in the other one? Active. Let's just say true. I could move this outside the state thing. I don't know. And I just want to compile to fix this error. This one. This is probably not needed. If active is always true, you can just use the one that doesn't take a ball. Yeah, that's fair. For now. I mean, maybe the enemy will be blinded for a second, but still moving to target, and then it's handy. But let's not worry about that, eh? Or if they're shooting, you know. Maybe I'll have a second var for that. Who knows? What's wrong? You take a delta time and an interval, and currently I've just fed you a 1, so you probably don't want to be that. Shot interval in this case is a time float. Do I need to hold on to you? I think I can just construct you, right? Will you let me just construct one? Or do I have to do this? You don't understand time, do you? Alright, fine. Shot speed, are you also a time? No, you're not. I'll use this constructor then. Float duration, and we'll just say 1f. 1.f. See how he's feeling. How many PC98 games were there? Was it a particularly popular home console in JP? Anyway, it should recalculate position, and then we'll just move all this stuff in there. In which case, start move to target doesn't need to exist anymore. For now. I guess we could just assign the entity once. Let's do that. I kind of like the idea of having these separate. So if they have a target, else enemy behavior dot state equals idle. Cool. So all of this stuff, target. Did we ever set the target? I don't think we do we? Oh, we just do it in here. Actually, I'm stupid. Yeah, be gone. Well, actually, this is weirdly fine for now. Else, enemy behavior dot target equals entity. What was it? Null? Entity. There was some null type, right? Just that one? Ignore how shit this looks. Okay. Hang on a moment, I need to rethink about this. This is stupid. You just null pointer. I thought there was a different way to check for you. Oh, I guess it is null pointer if it doesn't return anything. Sorry, what are you doing? If this is just a one-shot thing, there are also non-loop versions of Countdown and Count Up. No, I want them to basically recalculate it every second. Which I think this is perfect for it. Oh, I guess, sorry, it's just if not target, like that. Whatever. Sorry, what have I done here? Oh, I guess... Hang on a moment. What have I done? Your target in this case is a transform. I want to dereference you, please. If I already dereference it here and it's null pointer, it's going to cause problems, I guess. Oh, he's doing something else. You are aggressive. It's not a structure or a union. So I need to dereference what's at the target, right? I thought that's what the arrow was for. Entity is not a pointer. Yeah, I don't want the entity. I want the transform that's underneath it. Try get, I thought was giving me the transform from you. So I thought maybe we can just chuck a fucking dereference in here, but I don't actually remember the syntax for that. Forgive me. Music's gone quiet again. For one-shot events, you've been prone to store the event time as an unchanging thing and check if current time is larger than that every tick. As long as the time has enough precision, the benefits, you don't have to mutate the memory holding the tick every frame, so it crashes the cache less. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's sensible. No, it's good to think about. That's a very normal way to do like future events, right? You just say in system current time plus 1 dot seconds or whatever. Anyway, in this case, my enemy target. Why are you providing me an entity? instead of the transform that is underneath you. Oh, I'm stupid. Position in this case. What are you? You're nothing. What were you? No, hang on. You are the enemy behavior's target. Stop position. Hang on a moment. Enemy behavior target. Is it because is it just a compile error? Yeah. Okay. It's giving me a real one. Are you angry at me because I've given you the same name as this other thing? I instead call you target transform. Anyway, difference should be this. I just wrote the wrong thing. Fair enough. This music's very good. I know you're not being used. And honestly, that's epic. There you go, lad. You're getting used. This is stupid. This is stupid. Useless state. What am I making? A mess. Like a bullet hell top-down shooty game. Holding the time every tick, not holding the tick every frame. I get you. I guess we don't need that. Hang on, what have I done here? Left a position must have a class struct union. Const object. Oh, have I made you const? Are you angry about that, maybe? Why would that matter? Hang on, target transform's not being modified here, we're just reading from it. Transform in this case is const. But I thought you were a reference. Also, we were modifying you earlier, just fine. Oh, never mind. Let's see how this looks. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. Great. I guess the state never updates. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this move to target state. Don't need it right now. Goodbye. God, I love state machines. They're so much fun. Is that true? I think it's true. It does mean that there's a tick between its thoughts. That's okay. You can handle the 60th of a second of delay between it being idle and shooting or moving at you. Now I'm guessing that its physics never resets to 0, so every second when it recalculates, it's like they're just sliding around everywhere, you know? Because we're using this, instead of using the directional input thing, we're using this physics thing. I mean, they kind of look like they're thinking, don't they? They're not. But, you know. And yeah, you can add like a bit of randomness. You can say instead of every second, you can see if every random somewhere between whatever. This music's very good. I can link it if you want. This is 53 seconds into this video. But yeah, I'm gonna add that random thing now because I like random. It's fun. Am I using you in here? No. Level generator system random. Oh, I'm gonna need to construct a random. That's fine. You're gonna need it. We need to rename these things. I'm gonna do a little pre-thinking and say that we'll probably need a random percentage. I'm also gonna want a random time. I hate the naming. I'm sorry. I will fix it. Random fuzzy timer. Fuzzy time. Uniform. Real. Real uniform recognizes real uniform. Right. You guys are happy in there. Welcome to being constructed as well, if you can help it. You don't currently have a constructor. It's problematic. Can I just construct you in place? Hang on a moment. It's really only being used there, okay. How am I doing this elsewhere? I just have a constructor for it. That's fine. I guess enemy system didn't really have much in it before. Instead of using system, I guess. That makes sense to me. So let's think. You're gonna want this. Random percent. Random percentage. And what was the other one? Random fuzzy time. Fuzzy time. Fuzzy time is gonna right now be between a second and 1.5 seconds, whatever. And how am I usually doing this random percentage thing? 0 to 100, right? Yeah. Alright. And you, I guess, do I need to... Yeah. Okay. Hang on a moment. Maybe I'll pop this in here. You're in the wrong file. In fact, wait, what did I just open? Get out of here. No, was I putting you in the wrong place? Oh, I was. Forgive me for my stupidity. Not needed, lad. Don't even think about it. Systems manager? Looks fine to me. Alright, so let's just say in here the timer. I'm going to store some fuzzy number every time he starts moving to the target. Every time it recalculates its position. prefer state machines that aren't technically state machines because they have 100 switches and variables that create a crazy blah blah blah. I mean, mistakes. It's fine. It's a state machine spirit. You're a state machine. Got him good. All right, the music ended. Oh. How do you generate the map? I can show you in a minute. I'm guessing you generate a float, you want a tight, so it's going to be something like... Is it something like this? Oh, capital F, sorry. Java brain. Thinking time. He's got his thinking time on. I'll show you the map thing in a bit. Just need to think about this. Oh, if you want a couple of big islands of one scatter across the map, have you thought about just going with a good old classic cellular automata approach? I love cellular automata. My beloved. Enemy dot thinking time. So by default, it's thinking time 0, instant. They're straight on it, and then after that, they start thinking a little different. Little apple. I really think I should rework this from being this physics push to the input distance. By the way, oh, he's thinking. Anyway, we should now start seeing that the enemies are a little offset in their thoughts. Are they? I feel like they're all thinking at the same time. Hang on a moment. He's not thinking enough. I think I'm not setting the think. I am setting the thinking time. Hang on a moment. Why isn't this working? Fuzzy time is a float like this. If I set it to like a bigger delta, maybe it's more obvious. So the level generator. We have a Roomba. Like the robot Hoover. This is your Roomba. And we just have it move around like randomly-ish. Like this. Kind of randomly. And as it's moving around, it occasionally splotches down like a room. Like this. He's just thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna put a room here, here, here. And the rooms are like, they vary a bit. Like that. And then there's some other random crap we're putting in. And then at the end we do a pass around all those floors and draw walls around everything. That's the gist of it. Pretty basic. But we have loads of stuff we can tweak. And we store stuff in these maps which have chunks, which have tiles. So on and so forth. But the gist of it is we basically just move around kind of randomly. Dropping floors around. Stepping around, angling, you know, we can change how often it changes angle and to make more corridors or make it super random to sort of stay in the same area. It's very tweakable. I like it. I wrote it. I kind of loosely based it on how Nuclear Throne says they did theirs in a talk from like 15 fucking years ago or something when it was called Kings of the Wasteland or whatever. Who knows? What am I doing? Talk to me. Me? Oh, I was trying to run the game. Why does it feel like they all think at the same time? Why are they all sharing thinking time? Why are you guys thinking together? You guys see the bug? They don't all share an enemy behavior. Maybe they'll have the same seed. Do I need to give every enemy its own seed? I was kind of hoping the enemy... This would just work. We're in the enemy system. They're using the same generator. Yeah, I kind of thought it would randomize the seed every time. Am I missing something, like, serious here? The thinking time. It's being fed into this loop. And the thinking time should just be something random. By the way, I'm renaming this awful thing. RNG engine? Default random engine. Random engine. Become replaced. Random percentage. Become replaced. This thing. I could F2, but it won't work in other files. Become replaced. Maybe it'll work here. Random Markiplier? Oh, I'm not allowed to use F2. Never mind, that's why we don't use it. Be gone. Random angle. Welcome to random angle. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I've been looking at the screen for a while. Oh, that's alright. Donut. I'm thinking. I don't think it's stupid to have the enemies emulate holding a thumbstick towards the player. And every 0.5 to 2 seconds, they're like, oh, the player's moved. And they point at the player again. And then as the players move, they're like, oh, shit. And then that thumbstick to use the same physics as the player holding the movement keys. That way they should move around kind of naturally, as if it's like a person who's noticing every now and then that their target's moved. Because the current thing I'm doing is like I'm blowing them with like a big, like that. And you know, they go like, and then I'm blowing them, and they're going like this, and they're just, you know, if I blow them that way, and then I blow them this way, they kind of come to a stop, instead of turning around 180 degrees. I hope that demonstration, yeah, makes sense. Anyway, I think I can do that using logic and skills. So if we look at the way that I do the action responder thing for the player, I base the position of the direction. The direction is a normalized vector based on feeding WASD into a vec2, right? Functionally, something like that. Or we create this vec3, W is up, down, left, right, or whatever. And if you're using a controller, I think it's incremental. Like it's a, you know, you can hold it like halfway and it's like 0.5 up instead of, you get what I mean. If I were to say movement input direction, normalize, all this nonsense. Movement input, we got this dot product, we got all this crap. There should be a way to store this predicted aim angle as a movement input thing, right? So I'm going to start replacing stuff already. Movement input. Going to be a movement input. And in the spawn, entity factory underscore, okay. Why not? Spawn enemy. Enemy needs to have a movement input. Movement speed and desired speed. No, that's not it. Enemy. So instead of... They may still have physics, because the player has physics. Here's a mass. We're also going to add a movement input. This might fuck with some stuff, because we might have been only expecting the player to have movement input, but let's find out, huh? I really like it when you can reuse components. That's kind of my, like, it makes my heart go doki doki. Force is 1200. That explains why the force in the other one needs to be so high. 1209. Let's just say it's the same for now. So the enemy has a movement input with this force and desired speed and stuff. You are used in the movement system. But I think the movement input direction isn't really used, right? We just use it. We actually don't really use this. Hang on, why are you stored on here? Maybe we can remove this. Hang on, I'm stupid. Get predicted angle chemicals can bring word results from movement. You can just leave that as ATAN too. I kind of wanted it to look a little weird. You know, like if it moves exactly onto the player's coordinate, that looks a little worse than if it kind of moves a bit shittily in their general direction. Does that make sense? But I mean, I can do the ATAN 2 thing. We can just see. Maybe I can have fuzzy logic to just slightly skew the angle a bit. That does the same thing functionally. We can have enemy eyesight value 0 to 100, and then we fuck around with the angle based on that. Whatever. Enemy dexterity. You know, there's all sorts of crap you can do there. You not sure what predicted aim angle would even mean. I don't know. This is what I'm in the middle of thinking. I was thinking I need to work out which angle to hold the stick at. Maybe that's not needed. Just ignore me for a moment. I'm thinking I don't actually need this movement input direction thing. I think this doesn't need to be in the component at all. I think that seems kind of stupid. Right? If it's literally only used in here. I always recalculate it, yeah. How long will it take to be like you at this level? That's a strange, not a strange question, that's a long question. I've been programming for like a long time. Like I have YouTube videos from like 2009 where I was making Zelda games in Game Maker. But I mean, you could learn this shit in like a few months. Hello, Beast. This isn't my job, so this is like, you know, a year or two, like hard work, less than that. There's a lot of stuff you have to learn, but it's all online. You can learn everything. Just make a bunch of projects and screw at them. I'm making loads of first-time mistakes because I'm pretty bad at maths. Or at least, let's say bad at maths. I'm bad at memorizing formulas, so I don't know when I used to use ATAN 2 versus whatever. And this basic knowledge might seem very basic to game developers, but if you do other programming, it's something you never think about. Partially why it's fun to do game development, because you get to use all these formulas and stuff. Anyway, you could just start on a project. Do it now, or tomorrow. Go set up a little game programming. Do a little game maker or some Unity or some Godot or something. Anyway, I'm losing my thoughts. Enemy system, sorry. Enemy system. You're looking nice. So. We don't need this. You can go to uni for 5 years and learn the same things from a 10-year YouTube tutorial and practice. Yeah, I mean, I did a degree for 3 years and I've been working as an engineer for like six or 7 years or so. So like professionally, I have like somewhere towards sneezing towards a decade, if you consider the degree as professional, which is questionable. Like, you know, I've been hard layering it as my main. I've been maining programming for like a decade or so, which makes sense. I'm nearly 30. I started my degree when I was 18. But I've been doing it longer than that as a passion project. I had a very popular Zelda MC engine on Game Maker back in the day. Thousands of downloads, which is crazy for fucking Game Maker. Anyway, that shit's all deleted now. They don't have the sandbox anymore. They got rid of it. I didn't delete it. Game Maker deleted it. All right. Anyway, we've got an angle. Do I simply angle as a float? I guess we don't need this predicted game angle. Direction is sine and cosine. That still makes sense to me. At which point this is just movement input, no? Don't know if we need this velocity thing. Movement input. 5 years of uni. 5 years is crazy long. Is that just a Swedish thing? I don't know how this is gonna look. I'm gonna be real with you. What's this gonna produce? What does sine and cosine? Is this normalized? Will this produce a normalized... Vector's not the right word. Structure. I'm really curious to see how this looks. I'm gonna be honest. I still don't know why the fuzzy time thing isn't constantly regenerating. Wait, hang on. Yeah, I don't know why the random number generator isn't randomizing. This is your second semester in computer science, that's why you asked. Are you enjoying it? Because that's the number one thing. And it doesn't, not to sound corny, but like if you're hating it, this is going to take you 50 years. If you're loving it, you could do this shit in like half a year. Holy shit, the mice are going crazy. Alright. Dude, we're getting fucking packing already, or whatever we called it. This is like a really common game problem where given enough time, enemies will coalesce on each other and it looks stupid, and there's like a million ways to fix it. A solution I like that's really easy is to just not move directly on the player. You just pick a point nearby the player. But yeah, there's all sorts you can do. You can have enemies, you can have a lead enemy where everything actually follows the lead enemy. You can have enemies shuffle each other out a little bit. You can do what the Binding of Isaac does and give every enemy like a physics force that pushes other things out, which Christina's actually implemented kind of in her game. It looks pretty good, honestly. Partially something that will make this look a lot better is if they don't move at the exact same rate, right? I don't think the random number generator is regenerating. It should occasionally go to like 5 seconds. Am I missing something, lads? Random engine is being initialized as a random device. Fuzzy time is a uniform real distribution. Am I using this shit wrong? Maybe I'm just constructing it wrong. Random radian, come back to me, lad. How are you looking? Maybe I'm just misusing this. No, this looks the same. This is 0 to 2. Random speed multiplier. You're not checking for exact position equality to make them stop. I'm one thing at a time. I'm trying to work out why they are why they're moving on the exact same frame. That shouldn't be happening. It's just timer based. Yeah, but the timer should be... Unless I'm misunderstanding how your timer works, which is I think most likely what it is. Is it timer based? It is on a timer, yeah. It's every thinking time. But does this countdown loop... How does this work? And then every time the countdown loop succeeds, thinking time should change. Oh fuck, I'm stupid. Wait, hang on, why am I stupid? Why do you become 1S? Hang on a moment. Thinking time. Interval... I'm just misusing it. Wait, hang on, no, wait. The interval loop duration. You're weird to me. I'm doing this wrong. A equals 1 second. Yeah, this makes no sense. This was something else previously. Alright. Problem solved. Now the mice are thinking. And you can see already, like, they're not bunching up as much as they were before, just because they aren't thinking all at the same time. Obviously, there's no A-star, no collision avoidance. Nice that the collision detection does work. It means I can just hide in here, and they'll never get me. The little mice are trying. But good start, huh? So yeah, that's one thing they can do. The enemies are aggressive. So, world's our oyster. We can move from here, right? I could implement a method of which the enemy, how do I say this? Like, the enemies push each other apart, but sometimes it's not worth overthinking things. I'm just going to make their thinking time a little smaller. Maybe 1 second. We can make them track a little better sometimes. We can make movement update less often than other thoughts. But yeah. Look at that. Just by offsetting them a little bit on time, they kind of look a bit more like a cloud than like they're all coalescing into one dot. And a lot of like enemy AI in these games is just like adding a little bit of variance so they don't all do the exact same thing. And you can even vary them based on their neighbors. So you can say, oh, if all my neighbors are thinking quickly, I will think stupidly. Like a lot of FPSs will make... If you pay attention to like games like Arkham Asylum, like Batman, they'll fill a room with like 50 enemies, which will look really scary, but really only like 2 of them actually fight you at once. Or, you know, they'll check to see if they're behind your camera, and then they won't attack you. There's like a lot of nonsense that goes on in games for the player's benefit. You can do that in this sort of thing too, you know. Make them physically push each other apart. That's what I was mentioning earlier. I linked it to Binding of Isaac, but... I mean, they're physics items, right? We can give them some push, certainly. They'll be colliding with each other. We could give them a mask. And instead of resolving them as like hard edges, we could give them sort of soft borders. All sorts we can do. Might be able to reuse the collision detection system for that, but you know, I'm not going to worry about that for now. Time is short. Well, it's not that short, but I want to do other stuff. You could reuse the broad face from the bullets. Yeah, I think so. I think we've already got the hard part of detecting the collisions down. What was it? What weapon system, right? We had, was this... Where were we using the... quad tree? Collision system. Yeah, here we've already got a quad tree in the collision system. And we're filling it with all collidable objects. We're testing. Currently they don't collide. If I make them collide, I think they'll get stuck inside of each other and they'll just stop moving. Or maybe not, maybe they'll push each other apart already. I could start giving enemies a box to move around the world in that's square-shaped. And a circle that you hit them with. I thought. I'm actually curious. Can I easily make the enemies collide with walls? No, this is more the bullet collision stuff, right? Yeah. Although I guess we could say if they intersect, in this case, push them. I don't know. Apply some force in the opposite directions from each other, or pick the neighbor and push him a bit. An interesting thought. Actually, hang on a moment. I could also say if it's enemy and enemy, they push each other apart. Hang on a moment. So this is if they are like meant to hurt each other. Kinda. If they have health. Assuming everything hurts each other. But if I can say like if... Okay, this is not what I was going to write, but fine. Like basically I just invert this. Does that mean player hurts player bullet? Hang on, how does this shit work? I forget how I wrote this. Things to collide against, my layer. Oh, this you say what you collide against. So I could say enemies also collide with enemies. I don't want them to hurt each other. Yeah, we're saying collide. We don't really say if it's a bullet type or a hurting collision, damaging collision, or a solid collision, or what. We don't really check what kind of collision it is. We just say if they intersect. Interesting. Yeah, in this case, yeah. What am I trying to do? Do I actually want to solve this right now? I wasn't going to do this. Update their layers and make them checking for dealing damage a little smarter. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking like I can check if I'm a bullet, enemy bullet, or a player bullet. There's only 2 right now. I think that would be a simple enough check. You know, like if they intersect, if collision dot is a group equals enemy bullet or player bullet, and then we just cover this shit in a bracket like this. Oh, you can't do this auto crap in here. And what about if I put you at the end? What's wrong? Why does it change the... I have separate limits for bullets. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's the simplest. Yeah, hang on. I'll just do that. Yeah. So, if health exists and there's bullets, I kind of not want to bother checking for health if I know the other one isn't going to be taking damage, though. Like, you get me? It seems wasteful, even if it's kind of worse to have this. I can't do this. This is legal? You can, but make sure to check health and health blah. That's this, I guess. Oh. Hang on. Health blah. Make sure to check health and health blah. Sorry? Because that's what the semicolon doesn't implicitly get checked. You're confusing me a little bit. The syntax here is a little odd. I'm just going to extract this up. This is fine. How about that? I know it's an access violation, it's chill. Don't worry. This doesn't work. What have I fucked up? Maybe it's not collision.group. Maybe I meant to be checking this. Auto A equals X, then assume. Oh. I didn't know that. Okay. So do I just have 2 semicolons? Not auto A equals X. So this is like if it fails. This is so strange. And you can't have it. Alright, this hits. He needs to check for your collision as opposed to collision, I guess. This looks strange to me. I guess this is the whatever. This is the validation that it exists. Anyway, I can't put this in line with that other if. Even though that's how I want it to work. I want it to validate the enemy bullet, the player bullet thing. Only then if it passes I want to check for health. But you can't actually put this auto blah 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 stuff after that in an if statement. It can only go at the start, right? The assigning. It's annoying. But fine. Not a massive deal. What I would do is extract this to like some local function, just call it like bullet collision. In 2026, is this still needed? This shit's fine. Where's my... Okay. So if the group is enemy and collision, I don't know if this is already being checked or if this will ever never work. Actually, hang on, what's this one do? If collision.group and your collision.mask. Okay, this might not work then. I'm gonna shove this down. In fact, actually, does this check already verify that they're the group and the mask are the same? So if your group and your mask, tying collision groups to logic is a bit iffy, but I guess it works for now. Yeah, it's a little iffy. If I put an else here, does this mean that it's a collision between 2 of the same lads? 2 lads colliding. Is that correct? Two lads colliding, 2 lads colliding, 2 lads colliding. If I start killing the lads... Actually, I think these lads are going to be always colliding. There's too many mice. My music stopped as well. It's just quiet as these 2 lads are colliding. How would I push them apart? I just pick a direction and just push them a bit. Lad overflow. Honestly, good like Facebook 2007 Facebook group name. Oh yeah. Right, Cytokine. So in this case, I've already got a collision and a transform. I've got a transform. We have physics on both of these objects, right? Do we have two entities? Your entity. I have a my entity too, right? Do you use YouTube for music? Yeah, I'm just listening to Red Tails. Was it you that was saying nice, what was I listening to the other day? DB0? I don't remember. You can normalize the difference between their position and that'll give you a direction to work with. Ooh. Because we create a difference from their positions. We have an angle or whatever. And then if we normalize it, that gives us a direction, and then we just... And then maybe can I... Based on their... I can provide a bigger or a smaller physics bump based on their distance, right? Because I can't... This is what I thought was a good use for that physics bump. Sorry, I keep using the word physics bump. Underscores, huh? Not a number, and they'll teleport to the actual Shadow Realm. Dude, I watched the first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! In Japanese, because I've never seen it in Japanese before. I didn't realize the shit was real. I thought Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged made all of this up. You're telling me there's a scene where they all put their hands together, and Taya draws a smiley face on their hands, and they win with the power of friendship? You're telling me that Yami Yugi, at the end of his fight with Kaiba, actually says Mind Crush, and Mind Crush is Kaiba? It's not something little Karibo popped out of his sick brain? You're telling me that in Japanese he doesn't say Exodia Obliterate, he says Exo Flame? Obliterate's so much cooler. Oh my god. You're telling me that his granddad actually gets sick from the card game? What a fucking show. Holy shit, Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube non-stop. Yeah, I got that, don't worry. The reason it's stopping is because the songs run out. And I don't use autoplay because I don't like autoplay. Because I'm kooky like that. I'm just picking whole albums to play. Because albums are the best ways to listen to some of these songs. Good suggestion. Good reminder. YouTube non-stops worked very well for me for a while. Screw the rules, I have money too. No. I was really hoping it would... That was abridged. But I'm pretty sure there will be guns. There will be a scene where they like aim guns at Kaiba. Instead of just their hands like this. Trying to, they're trying to get the... What's this? Rotation? Remember. Anyway, difference. Target transform. You have a transform, right? I will rename these. See, I'm doing it. Wow. Hang on, what am I doing? I'm creating an angle. This isn't normalizing them at all. I'm doing the A10 thing. I'm just creating a direction. Hang on, can I just reuse that physics thing that I was doing before and just say like physics, my physics dot external force equals target direction multiplied by difference dot length? So I don't know if I'm like cooking something awful right now. House song, oh yeah. Because obviously this force will now have no newtons. That's length again. Sorry, not length, but length and then in brackets. And then I need to multiply it by some number of newtons based on how heavy the enemy is. Right? Why do you hate me? Sorry, why are you angry? Difference is a vec2 of float. Hang on. The angle calculation is superfluous. Is it? I'm creating an angle to push him with. Is that so stupid? Sorry, why is this Vec 3 not constructing? You can do it without any trig functions. You seem uni discussions in your third year. Yeah, chat was talking about uni, if they're still there. You still there, chat? Talk about university. Go crazy. Are you doing computer science? You can do it without trig. I can... Square rooting? Yes, CS. Hell yeah. CS is a good choice. What modules did you choose? Did you choose anything fun? I liked game dev. I wish it was more than 1/16 of my degree. Oh, we have find smallest separation. That's funny. I gave you a strong hint earlier. Normalize the difference between their positions. Does that keep me? Because you get what I meant. Like, I don't just want an angle, but I want, like, if they are right on top of each other, to have a large push. But if they're only a little on top of each other, to only have a small push. So I thought for that, I did need to have this. I guess the angle doesn't really have that. All right. Where's the normalizing going on? You meant the opposite. I want a big push if they're right on top of each other and a small push if they're just touching. Right? Yeah. We have one item here, one item here. If they're right on top of each other... I mean, this is what we're doing for collision with the walls, right? We're colliding circles. Yeah, we've already got this logic somewhere. You said opposite at first. Oh, ignore me. But here, I don't want it to be so precise as the wall. Because I think with the wall, we're actually calculating how to pop you to the other side exactly. With the enemies, I'd like them to kind of jostle around a bit, like this. If you've played The Binding of Isaac, you'll know the kind of feeling I'm thinking of. Where they're kind of like always squishing and pushing into each other. So for that, I was hoping to just use a little physics bump to push them out. Just like slowly push, so they can collide a little bit. We don't mind a little collision. So I was hoping for something kind of fuzzy and shit. Anyway, you're saying this normalizing, right? We have an action responder system. We were doing some normalizing. So difference. You can write the formula if you want. Is this something I'm going to work out? Because right now I thought I get an angle, and then I give them a bump. I give them a push in that angle, which is the... You don't choose modules, you're not from a Western country. I don't know. I only know how it worked in the UK. I don't even know if the Dutch get to choose their modules. How's the degree going? You probably will. You don't know how many extra steps it will have. Tell me, Donut, what's... Is the problem with mine right now that I'm using a bunch of trig, so it will get a bit expensive, and your solution will still look how I'm describing it? Where we'll have things just sort of bustling in and out of each other like excited water particles. Not precisely snapping to the edge of each other's hitboxes, but being like pushed out, like with physics, like when we set the external force. I mean, right now, obviously, this will probably push things a little far. But by adjusting something, I thought, man. Trig is more expensive and computationally calculated, but that's the main difference. Okay. Well, let me have a look elsewhere. We're doing normalize in here. Direction of circle closest from center. We've got this stuff. You've also got something in maths. Get basic aim vector, we'll be passing these two things. So I guess we can just use that. Hang on a moment. Alright, we've got this now. We've got some normalized aim vector. Oh, sorry, I guess maths. Capital N? No, do I need to include you? You should have access to maths, I'm gonna be honest with you. You don't? Interesting. Actually, you can be in the CPP file. So here we have a basic aim vector. Then what? You want me to do something with this? Because this indeed is minusing them from each other to get a difference. If it's 0, can I just say if it's like that? I think that would functionally do the same thing. And then normalizing the output, so we have a vector. But this doesn't give you like a... This doesn't give you the distance as well. I was kind of hoping that the difference here would be something I multiply to get the force I want to apply. You get me? Right. And get rid of all this nonsense, I guess. I don't think that sounds that stupid, does it? Obviously this thing here won't work. Like I can multiply it by some static, I guess. I don't know how this would look. I guess I can just find out. Oh, why am I moving so shit? What the fuck? What the fuck is going on? Why is everyone like this? Why is everyone falling? No! Oh. Alright, something's going wrong here. Well, hang on, am I colliding with myself here? This can't be right. Alright, Donut. What are you thinking, lad? To be honest, your uni situation's bad. You always procrastinate work, and each semester it's hard to bring yourself to saying lectures and labs you skip a lot. What are you hoping to do after uni? Because I had a similar thing. It was really like my final year that I really pulled myself up and worked super, super hard. And it worked out for me, at least, on that. But remember that it's only like... It's only a year, and it's useful forever, basically. It's okay, you could presumably also... You could convince yourself to push it for just a little bit until the end of the year, and then take it easy. Wait, what's your goal? Do you want to get a good degree? You should be capable. You seem like a smart young lad. It's a case of not having motivation. The motivation could be that it helps you get a better job. What have you written? Difference equals blah blah blah. Distance equals blah blah blah. Direction equals... You're doing the thing to make sure that we Divide by 0. Push force. External force equals... This is what I was thinking, is this not? Is this not basically what I was thinking, Donut? Let's see. Difference equals your position minus transform position. There's no trig in here. Or is the normalized thing doing trig? Is that the problem? That might be the problem. I don't know how normalized is working here. I don't know what you've done while I was typing that. Okay. Well, I found out that the basic aim vector is doing what we were talking about. I'm pretty sure you just wrote the thing that I was doing, right? We have this basic aim vector between the two positions. Well, we're doing the calculation to make sure we don't divide by 0 here. It's a little basic, but it's working. It looks pretty similar. We're setting push force to some value, okay, so 1,000, whatever. And then I was thinking maybe I could pull this back in. Instead of using the get basic aim vector, sorry, basic aim vector. Your transform dot positions my transform. You could just not normalize it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll give you the opposite of what you want. So can I not just invert? Can you invert a vector? 0 minus? You want to divide by distance instead. Divide by distance. I guess it doesn't have to be called difference. It could be called distance. After normalizing. Distance is length difference. Gotcha. Yeah, so I wanted to get the length of these two to get the literal right. Auto distance equals length. Some of this is slowly starting to make sense. Do I still need to normalize? Or I do want to normalize, and I'll say, I don't know, our direction is right. Equals direction divided by distance. Did a manual normalize by dividing by distance? Okay, I can try that. This will never be 0 because of this check. So we can't divide by 0 in here, I think. End up dividing twice. Yeah, let's not do that. Right now, I think everyone is colliding against themselves, by the way. I guess I could maybe say if your entity is my entity, we could probably start with that, right? You already have a part-time job. You got it from the career event day at the uni. The job was also part of why you're having trouble. Yeah, that's fair. Dividing twice will give you the effect you want. Okay, hang on a minute. I'm being pushed around by myself. Oh no, wait, I think the mice were pushing me. If I go near the mice, it like starts messing with stuff. It really messes with me. This is funny. The Seeds card has been destroyed for a while. How many hours are you doing at both uni and work? Because indeed, trying to balance work and uni is really hard. People struggle with it. It's pretty common, actually. What kind of help are your work and uni doing with this? Are they giving you anything? Do you have a job at that company after your degree? Is it somewhere you want to work long term? Dividing twice gives you the effect you want. This should already be testing against yourself, right? I don't know if this is correct. This is meant to say if my group and your mask, like if we're colliding with each other basically, but maybe I is this identical to my group being your group and your mask being my mask? I don't know. What lyrics? Dividing twice gives you what you want. Hang on. Okay, I'll give your idea a go. Let's see. Now, why does this work? Oh, fuck. I think my boolean is wrong. Direction is already the right name. I don't want to be getting pushed around by these mice. They're bullying me. Yeah, I think my if check is wrong. Hang on a moment. Let's do some other check. Although I don't know about that. That doesn't feel right. This is identical to what it was. It doesn't check for intersection even. Oh, for cock's sake, you're right. Very smart. Just completely missed that. Sorry for the duplication. Why not put it inside the other intersects? Just in this mask. This only happens if the masks are meant to collide with each other. Alright, I mean the enemies are pushing me around. Ugh. Can't really tell if they're pushing each other around there. You're not meant to collide with each other, collide anyway and do this. Why not put it inside the other intersects? If you're not meant to collide... Well, this is indeed because you're not meant to collide. Because in this case, it's meant to be that the collision thing is enemies have their mask is enemy. Sorry, their group is enemy and their mask is player bullet. I guess really I want to check if my group and your... Add enemy to their mask. Is that not going to make the enemy kill each other when they... No, because I guess we're checking if they're bullets. I want to collide with that image, they should clear it. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Oh, I guess maybe some enemies don't collide with other enemies. Hang on, how do I do this? What's the syntax of this? Or. Well, it's not or, it's binary, or how do you say this? I'm not so good at the bitwise or sorry. Yeah, I'm not so good at the bitwise operations. I always have to look them up. It's not something I really use too often. Right now at least. Obviously it does come up at work actually, but I usually check before doing stuff with it. It's not stuck in here yet. So in this case, if we're colliding, fine. Construct a hitbox. If they're intersecting, okay, now we're thinking. If this is only checking for bullet collisions against your group, should I also be checking against my collision? Like this. This does kind of mean you could technically be detecting bullets on both sides, but maybe that's chill. Obviously, these big brackets around everything are not needed. Is there an auto cleanup? No, okay. This feels messy. Because otherwise, maybe bullets will start moving. The job is good. It's not a BS job where you sit around and do nothing. That's what matters to you. Do you have, like, senior engineers, like, training you and stuff? You're told that the professors will be understandable before students that have a job, but you're not sure if there's any benefits. Well, they could maybe offer you, like, additional tutoring or more time to do to do the work, for example. I remember when I was oh, look, I think they are pushing each other. I think. I remember when I was a student, you were expected to put in like a lot of hours every week. So I can't really tell if they are pushing each other apart, by the way. I guess I could increase the multiply by some huge amount. So if I mean, I was working, but I was doing like YouTube and Twitch and stuff, so working is a strong word. It's hard to do like 40 plus hours of education and also do a 40-hour job, right? That's kind of an extreme, I suppose, but, you know. I think that the people that were doing part-time education, so they were working a full-time job and this, they had extensions on deadlines and stuff. I don't really like this constant force. I'd much rather we had, like... Is it constant? I can't really tell. Is this just something I can come up with as like a fudge value? It's quite confusing now because the health reduction is being applied to me in this context. So it's actually objects checking if they've been hit rather than bullets checking if they've hit something. Yeah. I'm wondering to what extent it truly matters. I feel like the player maybe should be pushed away by enemies and vice versa. Remove the second division to see if you like it better. This thing. I can't tell. Yeah, this is something I could test with ImGUI. Let's not think too hard right now. Do they look that different to you? Whatever it is, this feels a lot more video gamey. If I slow them down quite a lot, if I go to Actor, Entity System, whatever, and we just spawn them with a bit less mass, or a bit more mass, or a physics. Your mass is going to weigh quite a lot more, and your movement is going to be like way smaller. No, your force can be pretty high, but your speed can be a little lower. Ah, fuck it, let's just experiment. There's a little inertia or accelerations because you're applying force instead of saying the velocity anyway. Yeah. I mean, I suppose the way it is here is a little bit more realistic, right? You see them kind of orbiting and pushing each other apart. Occasionally they get like a big push, which looks a little stupid, but... The treasure mice are attacking. They're a little unpredictable. I mean, they're literally unpredictable. I should definitely give them a random angle. It might kind of help them accidentally resolve corners. I think the physics bump might be a little high. If I get them all in this little corner here, we should be able to see it pretty well. Hey, Ted. Try adding to external force instead of setting it. Yeah, so it like... goes on. I mean, this already looks okay. Oh, sorry, I was actually going to make it so enemies and also players also interact with each other. I was just curious to see how that would look. At which point, maybe I just come up with some really generic collidable, like moved. It can be moved. Make this a little smaller, maybe, but we'll fine. Not going to lie, uni is very chill if you put in the work. Just like spend Saturday and Sunday doing the assignments and show up on time, and you'll have no problem. Okay. But it's the problem, not that you don't have the time, it's just that you don't have the motivation. Depression, ADHD and stuff. This is something that, like... Oh god, we get really shoved around by them. Addition seems to be... I guess the default direction is down, so they get pushed into the wall. If we go up like this, they should be pushing each other. The addition thing really, like, flings them. I've invented a rat flinging game. That's the depression of the ADHD and stuff is something that the uni should really be helping you with, or a doctor at the very least, because that's impacting your study. You can see you die in one hit. I mean, you can easily do that. That's how it's worked forever. You thought VS Code sucks for C++. It seems like it's working well here. I thought C++ was really commonly done in VS Code. We use it at work. What do you use? The mice seem to be flinging each other at crazy speeds. I have a feeling that this might be just a tad little bit too high. I feel like maybe I should be including the physics mass in here somewhere. You know, like heavier things push more. That makes sense. Kind of makes sense to me. What is their mass? Physics code already does that. Dividing by distance is going to give weird results. This is Donut's suggestion. He said that it would give me... It would give me, I'm losing my ability to speak. It would give me the effect I wanted, where they push each other away. But I can't really tell. It gives you what you asked for, where it's less force the further away it is. Which is indeed how I prefer it. You're not a C++ developer, you're starting to learn it recently, you are a JS developer, cringe. Nothing cringe about being a JS developer. It's only cringe to say that your career is cringe. Maybe we seem to be pushing each other around a little bit. Maybe this is a little high. They really gang up on you. Like they can, God, you can't even get out of there. Oh my word. It just depend on the quantization of the moment. The quantization of the moment. The mice appear to be unhappy with their way of resolving their problems. It can be arbitrarily small. I mean, oh wait, hang on, no, distance can't be 0. You don't care about studying, you just need the degree. You might have to, I mean, you don't want to hear me say that, but you might just have to force yourself to do it. No matter how, you know. You don't like studying, but you want a degree. Those two are at odds, unless you want to cheat on every exam. Like, the degree is not just the paper. The learning is important, and it might not feel like that now, but the theory stuff that you learn there is useful. I do use my degree way more often than I ever thought I was going to. The mice are going absolutely crazy. Oh my god. Chris showed me an Instagram video where like 2 tiny mice were very calmly eating from like a pot of yogurt, very sweetly, and then a huge like super like mouse pops up and just goes boom boom and shoves his jaw in there and goes crazy with the yogurt. This is kind of what this is like. I don't know how much I like the player being pushed here. This is why your version checked for epsilon instead of equals vector, blah blah blah. Yeah? How does that work? Answer. Well, so this is a plus equals. Well, it's okay to have a plus equals a very small number. Word quantization. Ah. Why is that a purple link? Why are LLMs quantized? Close tab. Try distance squared and see how that feels. Yeah, why not? I don't know. Hang on. It's very fucking late. Squaring is where you times something by itself, right? 2 to the power of 2 is 4, right? I'm not fucking losing it, am I? The mice are no longer arguing. The mice are best friends. The fancy way of saying floats aren't perfect. The mice don't seem to care about their current predicament. This is not doing anything. Many real-life forces operate on inverse square laws, so it might feel more intuitive. Yeah, it wasn't like a big thing with Quake that they worked out a good way to like fudge an inverse square calculation, like good enough, so it could run decently well. You think you're fine because you're a hobbyist programmer, you learn on your own. That's true, but like there's things that you'll learn in academic. Anything that you think is boring is probably worth learning, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of the stuff you learn at uni that you find boring probably means that you won't bother learning it on your own. So if you want to be a varied software engineer who can solve a whole plethora of problems, you want to be a big toolkit, you should find the stuff that you find really boring and then focus on it. Because then your knowledge grows. Like, does that make sense? Like, some shit's boring. Like, we had like business modules at uni. Like, fuck that. They're actually useless. But the stuff I thought was boring at the time, I've actually started enjoying more and more the older I've gotten. Like, a lot of the stuff to do with like optimizations and algorithms and stuff, I thought, oh, this just seems... it's just nonsense. We just use a library for this. Why do I need to know how this works? And it turns out it's actually really good to know all this. Don't base your entire life on what you think when you're 15 or when you're 18. Like, when I was a student, I'd drink like 48 cases of Guinness. That's not exactly a smart decision. So I can't believe I had to rely on that guy to also get my degree. You need to divide by the square, not multiply. Oh, my bad. Just treat the degree as like someone else external is finally forcing you to do the boring shit. Alright, we do seem to be getting nudged a little bit. Not a lot. I feel like I might need to, you can see we are moving a little bit. We might need to add, like, a power. Can I multiply this by, like, mass? Like, my mass and your mass? I don't know how it should look. Scale factor go. Like, I have a mass. Like, my physics... And I feel like we could scale the physics... The who's getting pushed more based on... I guess you're pushing me. You are pushing me in this case. So multiply by, like, your physics or something. Little coefficient. Your mass? I mean, this is only multiplying it by 40. That's not a lot. You think the mass is already being taken into account too in the physics code? We can have a look in a moment. I just thought it seemed interesting. I mean, fuck all is happening. There's not enough mice pushing me. Alright, let's have a look at physics, system, mass. That's why you get the linear acceleration here. But this is only using your own mass. This doesn't use the like here I'm providing a force based on the enemy. So I want to scale the force at which you're being pushed by the distance to the enemy, or by the enemy's mass. Like if you're pushed by a really heavy thing, I feel like it should push you further than if a light thing pushes you. You're both overlapping the same amount. But like if the big thing is overlapping, I want that Snorlax to fucking yeet that Joltik out. You hated learning about TCP IP in uni, but now you're glad you learned it. Yeah, that's a really good example. Like networking stuff sounds kind of interesting at surface, and then you go into uni and it just turns out you're typing shit into a terminal and you're like, well, this is tedious, and then it turns out it's actually like extremely good to know. They're very fucking useful. You can go to a doctor, but you already know the solution. Work out, fix sleep schedule, and eat healthy food. That's not the only... I mean, there's other... If you have diagnosed ADHD, there's all sorts of gubbins that go into that. Working out fixing sleep schedule, and eating healthy food are like the most basic. It's like having paracetamol. Fudging impulse response. Yeah, basically. I'm thinking of multiplying the mass by some fucking super coefficient. We're going to make it 1,000. Indeed, like eating healthily is good. Are you eating healthily? Because I mean, the mood is impacted by all sorts. I have a terrible mood in the winter. Nice to go outside in the sun. When I was stuck at university, I used to go out for long walks. Sorry, why are these lads not moving? You put mass on the bottom so it will reduce it more. I'm what they call a little stupid. Hang on a moment. I should multiply this whole fucking lot then, huh? This is gonna shoot it out at like 1 trillion, right? This is gonna look insane. Hang on. Yes. Look at them go. Oh, watch out, little guy. Oh, okay. What motivates you, Musa? What is it? Getting results? Is it seeing like satisfying end to something? This is crazy. Most people can play with HUD don't have it. They just find the stuff they're doing with boring and on some they don't focus. Maybe. I mean, it's a weird world we live in, right? It's both underdiagnosed and overdiagnosed. There's people who definitely should have a diagnosis that it would help with, and then people who maybe it's not helping them that much. It's good to know, like, if you are very concerned about it, it's good to try and get a diagnosis, because it can help. Medication helps plenty of people, or at least just understanding your symptoms and what you can do to recharge your battery. Right, something's wrong about this. They are being pushed, but like not often enough and too much. You get it? Like the force is way too high, but it's not triggering early enough. Should I be taking into account your epsilon thing? Do you think that would help with this? They seem to just be pinging each other away. Like, these ones that are softly colliding, I should imagine, should... Like, if I were to just leave the game running and I were to stop them from moving in a direction, I should expect them to slowly settle out. I don't think a constant force would be better. You don't do any of the three and you live alone, so there's no one to force you to become a human being. You're an adult. I'm afraid it's... You can either find someone to keep doing this for you, or this is the step into adulthood that you might have needed. You can learn to impulse yourself. What's the word? You can learn no second, third dividing by distance. It's gonna feel because the initial contact might not fully separate them. If you want to have more impact. Hang on a moment. I've got two ongoing things. It is a skill that you learn as an adult, is to be able to be determined, like to do things yourself, to be self-sufficient. It doesn't just come like I mean, maybe it comes naturally to some people, but like it's a skill you learn. Like sitting down in the morning and thinking, all right, I'm an adult, I need to eat properly, I need to go for a walk today. You just got to do it. And then the more you do it, you build a habit, and then life moves on. Great. Habits are nice. But like you can't expect other people to force you to do stuff that can be childish, especially if you know it's good for you and you have the time and the space and there's nothing really stopping you. Like if you're at the supermarket and you're looking at the nice row of vegetables and you can afford it, just put the veggies in the basket. You should eat the things you don't want to eat. Learn the things you don't want to learn, or you find boring. You don't always have to like min-max and only do the best, most exciting things, or eat your favoritist, tastiest junk foods and ignore all your uni work because it's boring. Sorry, I was also reading the other chat. Using distance like this is going to make it feel springy because the initial contact might not fully separate them, which is fine. I don't necessarily want that. I don't necessarily want more of an impact. Try a constant force or use an approximation of energy transfer when things collide. It makes more sense to think of it as a kinetic energy transfer than a force, which means velocity gets affected directly. I do want it a little springy. I'm not opening Binding of Isaac right now. I was really hoping you'd kind of understand what I was talking about, where I don't want them to be like this, next frame like this, and then next frame like this. I want them to jostle a little bit. Like as they're moving around, I want them to wobble around and sort of try to separate from each other. Like they're both moving towards my player up here. This is my player. You know, both these guys are moving towards the player, so they're both going up, but I want them to kind of slightly push each other out. And when they really start to overlap, push a little further. Not like fire out like this, but like, you know, settle towards this kind of state where they're half inside of each other maybe, or to an extent like this maybe. So this makes sense. I just need to tweak it, I think. You're not doing it because you like it, but because of convenience. Inconvenience yourself. Try and do something you don't want to do. You know, next time you're at the supermarket, don't buy anything snacky. Only buy like a balanced meal, stuff to fill your basket. When you're feeling like you're getting a bit of brain fog and you're sitting inside for too long and outside is looking nice, go for a wander. I don't know where you live if it's nice outside, but just maybe get some headspace. Talk to people. Don't lock yourself inside. I mean, you can lock yourself inside if you want, but yeah. Do the constant. I'll try the constant force thing. What did you want me to do with the constant force thing? You just want me to do plus equals direction. Like, I mean, you're encountering a thing a lot of students have, right? Which is you like finally have a bit of freedom, and you've realized that all the shit your parents might have forced you to do, you didn't actually have to do it because someone else was either going to pick it up for you, or it didn't actually matter that much. What's wrong? But then you'll get a little older, and you're realizing that, oh shit, I need to put the wash on. Oh, the I need to wash my clothes Oh god, something's broken. Like the fucking shower's broken. I need to work out how to fix a shower now. Oh god, I need to make an appointment to the dentist, which you should do. They seem to be grouping up a lot more with this. Maybe the force isn't high enough. Oh god, this isn't good. They really trap you. I actually can't break out of this mouse hell. This isn't quite good. I forget what I'm saying, but don't regret. Don't make regrets, you know? If you know that your degree is good and that you should try your hardest, just fucking do it. And if you can't just fucking do it, speak to an ADHD doctor and see if maybe you need more help. Or make friends and use a... is the direction backwards? Yeah, I feel like I'm being sucked in. We've made a mouse black hole. Hang on a moment. The mice are being pulled into the black hole. No, don't... Come here, dude. Oh, God. There's an event horizon. Oh. Some moons have been formed. Hang on. There's like... it's direction backwards. It's difference divided by distance, which is what you typed before. I could do minus equals. Difference might be backwards. Yours to mine. Or do you mean distance should be... No, it should be minus. Alright, it's no longer a mouse black hole. They are pushing you. By just doing minus equals. This kind of works. Maybe this is good enough. This also means they can accidentally find their way around objects because they push each other around them. And look, there's a little overlap, but not too much. And I can easily, like, overcome the... I can actually push them out of the way. Flip your transformed opposition. I guess if it's the same, this is fine. No, you said that's incorrect. I should flip it. This is okay. It needs like a little tweaking, but it's not so shabby. Multiply by 5,000? Let's say multiply by 2,000. It's no longer a mouse black hole. Don't worry, chat. Alright. This is pretty good. I really do think math should be involved a bit. In this case, the mice and me are like kind of similar math, so it might not matter. But if I made a mouse really heavy, I'd expect it to push me further. They look kind of like they're dancing. Again, this is kind of what I made Imgui up for. I don't know about it being constant, though. Is that really what I want? Pretend you're going to do minus all along. I think it's fine. Like how do I describe this? The mice are dancing. I guess they are circles. They do inevitably just look like this. You're gonna fantasize about fixing your life, you're always gonna do it tomorrow and it never happens. There's many ways to motivate. Self-motivation is a skill that you can learn. As I said, like my first 2 years of uni, I was not particularly self-motivated, and then my final uni, I realized I was like on track for a fucking shit degree. So I was like, well, the only way I'm gonna get a good degree is if I try really hard this year. So I like hyper concentrated on that shit and then got the best one I could, which has been really valuable. I'm very grateful that I was able to find that self-confidence, that I knew I could do it, and I'd be pissed off at myself if I didn't. You won't be young forever, but your decisions you make now might affect you in the future. So you can be a little mature and just do yourself in the future a favor. Maybe you will have worked things out in the future and you'll be really grateful that you sort shit out now. This looks alright. It's not exactly what I wanted. I still think that I still think it should vary. Like, it should be a little bit more springy. You know? Maybe if the radius was bigger, there'd be less overlap. I like the overlap, honestly. I kind of want the overlap with a bit more force. But that doesn't really make sense. Don't know how to describe the behavior I want. Other than to say maybe the center, instead of scaling like a gradient from darkest to lightest, the middle sphere, maybe paint's better again. Can you see this? You can't see this. So like, the entity has like a sphere of influence. Maybe it should have like the center core and then like the outer bit, where like the bit in the middle is scaled really strongly. So like, this is going to look a little inappropriate, I apologize. In this area here, like they can kind of jostle and they only mildly push. But if they get right like this, they like force each other out way more. Does that make sense? And in maths, I feel like the graph, instead of looking like this, instead of looking like this, where it's distance from center, and this is radius, I want like, actually, I guess this is inverted. Hang on. I want it to be more like. Does that make sense? I know how this graph looks in Sony Vegas. And then we have push force. Which is now, we're kind of gamifying it a bit, but I hope you understand what I mean. You can try dividing by distance now that direction is correct. I'll give that a go. Do you understand what I'm getting at with this? Where I kind of want like a lot of impact in here and only a mild impact in here. If you program this, you would have completed it with some integral. There's definitely just like a function you can apply to determine based on the distance to the radius how much force to apply, and then based if there's a lot of mass, like if it's a heavy object, you apply a greater impact. But maybe I'm just being silly. I get the idea, but I'm sure it's necessary. Okay, I'm describing the behavior I want. How we reach it, I don't massively care. They'll jump inside of each other. Yeah, I don't know if I want that. I mean, this... Hang on, this, but with a greater push force. Maybe I should just give them greater mass. I don't know. Okay, now they really fucking push you out of the way. You can kind of shove them out of the way, but it's hard. If this, I'll be honest, the feeling right now is like trying to push past a person. Like if you're in a corridor and you're really trying to squeeze through a person, this is the exact same feel, which is not what I'm going for in the game, but it is kind of crazy that you can just recreate a vibe. Like my hand going into the keyboard right now feels like I'm pushing through a crowd at fucking Shinjuku Station or something. That's crazy how that feels. I'll be really honest, I think it was really smart to make it so enemies move to you as if they're holding a joystick. I think it's making this behavior feel a lot more realistic. Also, with whatever behavior you've got here, they no longer like trap you inside in a mouse black hole. Okay, maybe we just stop this here. I'm gonna be honest, this wasn't what I was going to write. I was gonna write like the enemies idling and shooting you and stuff. I guess I should resume. Over time, the mice will congregate. We just wait patiently. More will appear. This kind of feels okay. Maybe this is something oh, yeah, I guess when they sometimes spawn inside of each other or inside a wall. They still haven't fixed the mice spawning inside of walls, and I don't think I will anytime soon. This kind of feels okay. Maybe a little bit more force. Maybe a little more sodium chloride? Maybe they should push the player more than they push each other. I don't know, but yeah, look at them jostling. This is kind of the behavior I was talking about, right? Do you see what I mean? Where, like, they can sit inside of each other, they're not, like, launching out at light speed. But they are, you know, they're still very obviously chasing the player. Dude, that's salt, yeah. You know, they're clearly moving towards the player. But, like, you know, they're jostling around. And they're not turning into one singular, like, orb. Which was something that really plagued me when I was doing those little Game Maker games, I'll tell you that. A little bit of dihydrogen monoxide. Okay. Man, Treasure Mice is cute. I don't know what you guys think. Should I give him a gun? There we go. Alright, pretty epic. You're being negative right now, but I guess it's not that bad. You will try to do better. Thanks for listening. Yeah, I mean, take it easy, I guess. There's always, we have a pretty strong Discord server. There's loads of students. You can always chat with them if you need help with something. Need some motivation, you know, you can chat with them. Everyone's a computer scientist, apparently, or they work in a bar. Or there's a lot of people who, you know, like me, they've already gone through this. Big McThankies from McStankies, exactly. Remember that, like, you're not going through something uncommon. There's plenty of people who've had similar thoughts and vibes. And you should live your best life. That's the most important tip. And good work on getting a job already at uni. That's very good experience. We have, like, I have work. I have to get up in like 7 hours for work. Less than that, 6.5 hours. Do you think I have time to implement enemies shooting you? Should I leave that for next time? What's my Discord DMs like? Nothing. The Apex group. Alright, great. Maybe we stop for a sec, because if I accidentally start something new, it's not going to take 5 minutes. It's going to take like 2 hours, and then I'm going to wake up with like 3 hours of sleep for work, and that's not going to be cool. Maybe I just say like this is great for now. The mice aren't shooting. Yes, not really. Not really what? I'm currently wondering how much I want to care about like an A-star algorithm. Maybe I just provide a little bit more randomness to their movement. Like if they're far from the player, I just actually make them move like sort of, I pick a point near the player instead. For example, which might help jostle them out from a wall. But maybe we'll want proper pathfinding for smart enemies. For basic enemies, getting them stuck is half the fun, right? I don't mind the idea of Oh, that guy got flung. I don't mind the idea of safe spotting. This is wrong though. Sometimes they get properly flung. Look at that one. I guess they get stuck in a corner or something. That little walls that won't change much. Yeah, but there may be levels with loads of walls. I don't entirely know what caused that though. It's going to be very weird for gameplay if the enemies just suddenly get... What's happening? Maybe I should cap it. Hang on a moment before I forget. Checking it against epsilon instead of 0 will probably fix that. You think so? Hang on, what was the syntax for that? Posted it. There was some weird way to get it. Here it is. Standard numeric limits. So hang on. So we just say less than? Probably could store this as a member so I don't have to recalculate it constantly. The distance is less than that, set it to 0. Whatever, instead of dividing it. Direction? Instead of this? Kind of would like them to push each other. Const vec2 direction equals... Ooh, const. Oh, you did it as a one-liner. Will the const really matter in this case? You're const correct. Magic number. Can you not do larger than? With vec3s? Have you lied? Told me a lie? I thought I had to construct a vec3 with epsilon. Oh, you did distance, not difference. Hang on, is distance just what you called difference, right? There you go. Distance is length difference. Yeah, we got the difference, we got the distance. Oh, here we go. Sorry, I was getting confused because it was giving me a compiler error. Is this going to look any different? Oh, we had some bug where the mice were getting stuck in the walls, right? Does this not mean they'll stop thinking when they're on top of each other? I mean, I guess like they will randomly pick a new direction, but maybe if the player stops moving, eventually some of the mice... Hang on, he just got sent out into the nether realm. This doesn't seem to have fixed it. In fact, it seems to be happening more often, but maybe that's just coincidence. Is a number larger than epsilon? Okay. This reminds me of an issue I was having in procedural golf, where I wanted the ball to eventually just stop moving. Because if you just constantly apply friction, it's just going to keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And at some point you just have to say, okay, you have to stop. Settle. And is this just an issue with the inverse square thing? Where if they are at a really, really small distance, they were actually getting multiplied by some... I mean, this guy's still getting pushed crazy style. I feel like I just need to cap the force. Don't I? Would that not help? Holy shit, this music's going crazy. There's a lot of mice over here. The mice are going absolutely haywire. The best square will be huge when they're close enough. That seems to be happening. Does capping it not just fix that problem, where the mice accidentally send each other into the nether realm? Maybe I can just say the force is... I just cap the external force. Is there a... There's clamp, right? Yeah, I want to clamp. You only need is min. I still want to do the adding, right? How does clamp work? Min max. So min, I don't know, it's just set it to 0 for now. And max can be like 50. I don't know. This is something you tweak from. It clamps you between these two values, right? How can I construct a vec3 from these? Does vec3 not have a constructor where you pass this in? You can construct a vec3 based on... Maybe that doesn't really make sense. Maybe STD clamp just doesn't exist for this. Clamp the scalar force, not the vector. Really? I was thinking that if I just clamp whatever comes out at the end, it'll never go above a certain amount. You mean these two? Distance times distance. How exactly does this work? Sorry, because my thought was just like occasionally the scale clearly just goes to 20 trillion, so I'm clamping the eventual result. What do I clamp in there? Distance times distance. Why is 0.001 multiplied by 0.001 direction divided by that? Is the scalar force in this case the distance times distance? Force equals direction multiplied by min. Mass times 25 divided by 25 in this case is this thing. We'll think of something here. Where the fuck is your 20? Why are you doing... Oh, you just did them in a different order. Hang on, I need to rewrite this. It's way too late for this sort of work. Oh, we're doing min instead of clamp. STD min? Just min. I guess we're using STD maybe. Maybe this is GLSL's one actually. Okay. I don't really understand how this works right now. I'm kind of tired, I'm gonna be honest with you. Oh, and then some value. You save multiplying by the direction vector until last, so the magnitude is kept to scalar for as long as possible. Okay. They don't really seem to be pushing each other anymore. This has broken something. $50 might be too low. Oh yeah, we're using like 1200, right? That's 12,000. We were using like 1200 as the force earlier, weren't we? I don't know if 12,000 is such a big number or a tiny number. Seems to help. I mean, they're not shooting off anymore, are they? Oh, this is loads of mice. This should really work. I mean, they don't seem... This is how I recreated it last time, right? This looks pretty realistic, doesn't it? Like, occasionally one gets kind of pushed out, but... I could try a bigger number. 50,000, I don't know. I like this. Yeah, this is kind of cool. Oh, there's so many mice. Alright, let's get right into a corner here. I still want some of that springiness we had before, just not too much. Okay, this might be too much. They don't seem to be sent into this nether realm, though. Maybe this, whatever we had earlier, or this is fine. Like, as a game, this feels like a horde, like, chasing you, right? Like, if you were to run away, like, shooting them, this wouldn't feel so weird. Not that the enemies will be chasing you from across the whole map, or be little mice, but kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, this is okay. Whatever. I'm gonna end there then. It's midnight. I got to wake up in like 6 hours for work, so I'm gonna go. Did you guys enjoy the programming today? I successfully worked a 12 and a half hour day by accident. Oops, don't tell anyone. Alright. Did you like the programming? I think we made really good progress. Having the mice like jostle around. Having the mice do stuff. Like, they've just been standing still shooting us until literally today. This is the first time we've written any kind of enemy AI. And the enemy, they could still shoot us, by the way. I've just turned it off because otherwise we're just taking damage while we're testing. But look at this, like, you know, you can move around them and they kind of jostle and they move, and we can change their thinking time, we can tweak all sorts, but the fact is that we have stuff to tweak. You know, mice are getting stuck in walls, whatever. Mouse is going to get removed. Simple enough to fix, doesn't matter right now, because we don't even know how the levels are really going to generate, or what the mice are going to look like, or whatever. It could be as simple as, like, if the mouse is within some distance of a wall, don't spawn them in, just make level generation take like another second. Who cares? For now, this looks pretty good, right? They chase you around, they jostle, they have different sort of thought patterns. Putting directly into sleep, not advised. Yeah, well, I'm gonna do that. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay sharp, and I'll see you tomorrow for something else, or this, or I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'll take the day off. I don't know. I'll let you know tomorrow. I always post on Discord, so you'll see there. Good night. Have a good one. Bye bye.